Okay. Okay, so we talked about the attending skill. We talked about the active listening skills. And one of the highlights is, if you remember, we said that every encounter is an encounter, is what is an encounter with God. Very good. So every time we meet the youth, it is basically to them, this is an encounter with God. And to us as well, right? So it's not that we are only God to them, but we are God to them and they are God to us, meaning we see God's glory in them as well, in the way we interact with them. It's I would call it, it's a mystery. God is allowing us to be witnesses to this mystery of interacting with his children who need support. So what is the counselor role? It is to have, it is to be genuine. It is to be present in a relaxed way and with warmth. Acceptance, meaning I accept the person regardless of what the issue that is being presented. I accept the person. What is the youth role? What is the role of the youth? It is to process. So there's going to be a conversation. My side as a counselor or as a helper is to be present with warmth, with genuineness and acceptance. And the youth role would be to process, like active listening. I'm reflecting to the person what is happening, whatever I am hearing. And we're going to talk about empathy right now. And this helps them to process and reflect. So, is there any place for solution giving here? No, not yet. So it's not that there is no time for solution. It's not that it's that we provide no solutions, but not yet. We have first to focus on the person, not the problem, not solving the problem, but the person. Maybe the person's care to have the problem solved. And maybe I have a solution. Maybe once I hear the problem, I have a solution because I have dealt with it before, but it's not the right time to present the solution, because when I present the solution, what is happening? I'm becoming an obstacle. I'm becoming an obstacle for what? For the person to engage in processing and reflecting, because there will come a time that they need to do this for themselves. So this encounter, basically, you can call it a training for me and for them. Training for me because I need to suspend, because who said that my solution is the right solution? Maybe it is right and maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the suitable solution. However, once they process, once they put things together, and once they reflect, they would come with a solution that would be suitable for them. And our role at this stage is to discuss how is this going to be implemented. Maybe I would use my discernment. You remember, like, the qualities of the counselor is to be close to God, to be able to help if the solution really matches the values that we believe in, right? Because there we can come up with solution. You know what? This person is annoying me. I'm not gonna talk to them, and I'm gonna make an alliance and coalition with someone else against them. Is this a solution or not? It is. Is this the solution that we want to go with? No. Right? So there is, I think we're on the same, are we on the same page? We're following together? Okay. The relationship. The relationship is basically an alliance between me and the youth, the adolescent. And it is greater than the sum of the parts, meaning, what are the components? The helper, the youth. Who's more important? The process is more important. The process has higher value. The process of interacting, providing some acceptance, which provides safety and validation for the youth, this becomes very valuable than just giving them solutions. It's easy to give solution. The solution itself, we might be tempted to think the solution is the objective, but it is of less value than the entire process itself. And though it's easy for me to say it, but it's not easy to implement it, because there is a higher tendency, very high tendency, to solve the problem. Parts would be the youth, the counselor, the issue, the problem, and the solution or the suggestions. The third skill, so this is empathy. I could not get this out, so this is empathy. Okay, so this is the third skill we're going to talk about. Again, this is one of the difficult skills. Why is it difficult? It is difficult because our understanding of it sometimes maybe not accurate, or maybe needs to be adjusted. So what is empathy? Empathy is listening to. I am listening to behavior, experience of the person, and feelings. I'm listening to the behavior, experiences, and feelings from the counselee's point of view, from the youth point of view. So I'm listening to their perspective, to their own worldview about what is happening with them. Okay? It's understanding empathy. It is understanding what the world looks like from their point of view. And of course, there is no guarantee that this would align with my point of view. This is what the problem is with the empathy. Because if their point of view is different than my point of view, what happens? I have difficulty really expressing empathy to them. So maybe they come to me with an issue that they, you know what, I failed my driving test. I had a driving test and I failed, and it's the end of the world. What am I tempted to say? It's okay. Come on. It's not the end of the world. So to them, it is the end of the world. But to me, it's not the end of the world. So here is a collision that happens. Here is a collision where it makes me not able to empathize. Oh, come on. Why are you so soft? Why is this an issue for you? It is an issue for them because I need to understand. Maybe to them, passing the driving test is an ability for them to access a car because no one can drive them to their school, to their outings, and to them this is very significant. But if I just look at the not passing a driving test, might look trivial, but the meanings behind it is very important. So if I think about it from my perspective, I'm going to have extreme difficulty expressing genuine empathy. Make sense? So it is being able to express to them your understanding of their point of view regarding his or her experience, behavior, and feeling. Also, you're upset. To you, it's the end of the world. Okay, tell me more about this. So I need to elicit more information. Help me understand. This is the end of the world. Wow, this is a disaster. I could say this is a disaster. Of course, to me, it's not the end of the world, but to them, it's a disaster. So by echoing to them how I understand that this is a disaster for them, this is when we start to do what? to have an alliance, to have a connection with one another. And this is to have a dialogue, a conversation that could be going through. Sympathy is having pity. That's not empathy. That's not what we are talking about. Oh, ya haram. Oh, that's not empathy. This is sympathy, right? It's having pity, compassion on the person. But empathy, it's not empathy does not mean I agree with your worldview. You're coming to me, and this is another obstacle that we have to overcome together. Okay, so an adolescent coming to me, and to them, this is the end of the world. I don't have to agree to express empathy. I do not have to agree to express empathy. Expressing empathy also does not mean I agree with you. Oh, so this is yes, it's a disaster. I could say, yes, this is a disaster. It does not mean I agree it's a disaster, but from your point of view, it is a disaster. So by me saying it is a disaster, I am not empowering that it is a disaster. But what am I doing? I am joining your feelings. I am joining your experience. Because when I join the person feeling and experience, only then when we can talk together and maybe move somewhere else. Maybe they would process. Maybe through conversation and reflecting, active listening. So I join by empathy. So I have to have active listening to understand, then maybe express empathy. Of course, I'm attending, express empathy. We join and we continue the active listening. And active listening, I'm reflecting my understanding of the problem and empathy to really join you. And then the adolescent would be doing what? Processing and reflecting. And maybe they would, you know what? Yes, it feels like a disaster, but it's not really a disaster. This is an achievement. If we reach a stage when they can say it before me, then this is an achievement. This is equals success, kind of. So the success is not me saying it first. The success in the process is them processing, reflecting, and coming to this conclusion first. And maybe it happens and maybe it doesn't. It's okay. But this is the one of the objectives, that they have a shift in the mindset, in their experience, through processing and through reflecting in the conversation. Empathy, so it's not sympathy. It does not mean I agree. This is usually a common problem that we face with people. But if I agree, if I say this doesn't mean that I agree with them. No, it does not mean that you agree with them. It doesn't. Empathy denotes understanding and accepting the person and not necessarily with the behavior, feeling, or point of view. Okay? Thank you. So here is an exercise. Okay? I want your empathy. So here is a case, a beautiful, skinny teenage weighing about 85 pounds, which is nothing. Comes, I wish I have 185. Comes to you sharing, I am just so fat. I am so ugly. I can't believe how big my thighs look. I am so worried about gaining weight because I never want to be called cow again. I absolutely refuse, but I am so hungry all the time. I feel trapped in this. I feel so fat. I am so fat. How can we respond to this? Yes. Tell me more. Okay. And what's the objective? Very good. So tell me more is a good thing. However, how are we helping the person to tell me more about what? About what? So tell me more about your weight. Okay, okay, okay. What else? Yes, Alex. What's the reason that make you feel this way? Okay. Okay, let's stay with the first part. I like the first part. What's the first part that you say? You said, I understand where you're coming from. I wouldn't like to be called cow as well. What have I just said? I get you. And it is hard. Yes, it is hard. So what you said is we're getting somewhere is, you know what? It is hard. And I can say, oh, this is very hard. Yes. So what would you say? I say I understand and I agree with you that body image is difficult for a lot of people. Like I hope that she would maybe like would want to continue on that and then explain more about her body image so that I can go with that. Okay, 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 good. What else? Other thoughts? You want to say something? Go ahead. Pardon me? I have a comment. Yes. So what is happening here? This must hurt. This is the empathy component. This must hurt. And also you did some paraphrasing that I understand that you feel trapped. Very good. Other thoughts? Yes. Question. Okay. This situation is easy to relate to with the yes. Okay. What do you mean you agree to this feeling? Like it's not about how you understand or how you think for somebody that has a problem. Wait. Mm-hmm. She does not have a problem with the weight. With how she looks. Okay. Somebody has a problem. What do you mean somebody has that problem? No, no, no. I'm just poking to get more info. Yes. I'm saying this is an easy case to agree. Yes, yes. Right? Yeah. There could be cases that. Of course. Let's start with the easy first. Absolutely. Yes, yes. I get your point. I get your point. So you're saying you're giving us an easy example. Yes, of course. I don't want to start with a difficult example from the get-go. I want your alliance first. Yes, you are right. You are right. Yes. I understand there's a difference between the agreement in what the result is of her feeling and understanding what the feeling is. I agree and I understand it's difficult to go through what you're being called. I don't want to be called like how I don't agree that you have a problem with how you look. I don't agree that you have a problem with the way. I understand how you are feeling. Yes. But there's like feeling and there's an actual reality to what you're experiencing. You're not that. You're not eventually anything. Yes, and actually having the person in front of you would put things together. So I need to visualize someone who is 85 pounds. I said, I am 80. I wish I'm 185 pounds. So you can imagine how 85, what 85 pounds looks like. So I'm seeing someone who is asaya, And this person is upset because she feels fat like a cow. So you see the yes. You are absolutely right. However, this is a bit jumping into solution. However, you're right. You're right, because it also, I need to think what could possibly be happening, to put some theories. So what could possibly be happening is someone is calling her fat and a cow. And if this person is a colleague, then they are bullying her. So she's being exposed to bullying. And that's traumatizing to the extent that she has developed this ideology, that she has believed it. Or if it is an older person, like a parent or an uncle or an aunt, which is less likely, maybe, I'm guessing, but it is a possibility, then this is not bullying, but this is kind of not harassment, but abuse, traumatization, verbal abuse. So it's either bullying or abuse, verbal abuse. So it's a difficult, it's and she is living in this as reality. She is living in it as reality 24/7, 7 days a week. So this is part of being able to express empathy. It is hard. It is hard. And this person needs a relief. And one of the best way to provide relief before providing solution is to say, this is hard. Once she hears she is not crazy, this is a difficult situation to be in, oh, I'm not crazy. Yes. It is hard to be called a cow. It is difficult to be called those words no matter what, even if it is true. But here, of course, it's even more traumatizing. Anyone from the online, please feel free to jump in. Anyone would like to share any thoughts, any empathy, any way of connection? Please do so and make mistakes. It's time to make mistakes now. 11. 11 person online. Come on. That's a lot. That's almost the same number as here. All right. So I'm gonna harass you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to do this.
Abuna, I'm here. I can answer.
Harass you in a good way.
Abuna.
حد ابتدى يتكلم. Someone started to speak without me harassing.
Abuna, it's me, Andrew. I don't know if you can hear me.
Andrew, yes, أيوة كده اديني.
I mean,
say
to be
something,
honest with
Andrew.
you, anorexic people are actually the most difficult people to deal with.
Yes.
They are very challenging, very very serious, like mental, difficulty and barriers. I mean, I would honestly just say recognize that this person needs true professional help and try to encourage them to seek it further over help, because it's a challenge I feel for the layman to deal with people who have severe anorexia like that. But I think support, encouragement, providing resources, you know, be any embracing and supportive as best as you can while they seek the proper help is probably the best thing to do.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right, Andrew, that probably this person needs a referral. But the question is, since this person came to me and sharing this thought, what would be my first step before referring? Is to express empathy. Listen, because it seems she has a problem with people listening. So besides the anorexia, which is, I 100% agree with you, it's very difficult to deal with. So we're not focused on helping the person overcome anorexia. But since the person came to me as a youth leader, and I think it's worth to show some kind of, as you mentioned, support. So what would be an example of an empathy statement that I could share with her? Can you share something, Andrew, about empathy? Are you hearing me, Andrew?
Well, yes, sorry, I was no, I was probably going to say to be empathetic in the situation is probably um very important. Yes, of course. I think the first thought that would come out of my mind would be to tell her that, you know, you're a healthy young person, you know, and I don't agree on how you view yourself. I think that, you know,
I'm gonna
we
have
can
to
try.
stop you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to stop you because
No,
if I
listen, you said
start
make
telling
mistakes.
her
But I'm making mistakes.
you're a healthy, good, no, 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 it's okay. And that's why I said, please make mistakes now. That's okay. We learn more from making mistakes, not from getting it right. And if I say this, I'm sorry, I don't mean it in a,
No, you're
I
right.
love you,
No, please
Habibi.
correct me, Abdullah. Please,
We're best friends.
please correct me.
The thing is those kind like those are examples that we learn from is you are 100% right. I might be tempted to say, you are very healthy person, you are beautiful person, you are amazing. There is a space, there is a place to say this. However, at the first connection, probably she might benefit and connect from saying, this is hard, this is painful, this is difficult. Use all the words. It's no something to describe that this is difficult, this is hard. And by the way, sometimes I think I made a mistake is to share with the person, yes, I feel what you're going through. I said, no, you don't feel it because you were never exposed to this. So it means that the persons are suffering a lot. And it's not easy for them for someone to tell them, yes, I feel for you. No, you don't feel for me. You cannot. But maybe I understand. Maybe even better, this must be very painful. This must be very hard. This is difficult to go through this. No one should be called names. No one should be called names. Then maybe later down the road, start expressing, like, as you just said, yes, you know what? I think you're an amazing person. We have to be very sensitive, especially whenever some gender differences with our words, because we don't know what has been happening in the life of this person who is traumatizing this kid to that extent. Yes. Yes, please. George, who had their hands up? Any other attempts? Please. It's a healthy thing to make mistakes right now. And even later it's gonna happen, but the sooner the better. What is the counselee's point of view? I think we've covered this. Probably the person is going through abuse or bullying, and the world is collapsing. I feel so fat. So I should not come and tell the person, no, you're not fat. I should not tell the person, here are the facts. Because when I confront the person with the facts, what am I doing? Invalidating them. And I am validating their feelings. And I'm missing the whole point of their experience. So it's not about fact checking here. It's about what is the feeling? What are the thoughts? So first of all, we are at the stage of listening, expressing empathy, attending to the person. With those, even if you can do nothing, you cannot go wrong with those. Even if we do not jump into solution at all, you cannot go wrong with those. Even if the person insists, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. If someone insists to tell you what to do from the first sitting and like from the first 5-10 minutes, what would be a good response? What do I do? I am fat. I'm being called a cow. What can I do? I cannot take it anymore. Tell me what to do. Tell me. Tell me.
Being called a cow is so impactful for your life that it's such a situation from such a context, what it means. Yeah, so like thinking through your thoughts and why this word cow is so impactful for you, and why do you think it's fun?
I don't want to be called a cow. Would you like to be called a cow? I don't want to be called a cow. What can I do? Yes. Sorry. I don't know. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm coming to you. Tell me, what should I do? What can I do? Yes.
I think now that she's looking for an action item, she's looking for something to do. I can start to ask her questions about at what point does somebody become a cow? Like how much do I have to eat? What do I have to weigh? What makes you think that you're a cow?
I don't know. I don't know. You tell me.
That's really hard.
You know what? This is a good response. You know what? That's really hard. I don't know. It's okay to say, you know what? You're right. I don't know what to do. If I'm in your place, I wouldn't, because she is in a place where she doesn't know what to do. And there is no guarantee that you know what to do. Get yourself out of the solution. You know what? I don't know what to do. Let's talk about it together. I don't know. It's okay to say, because when I'm confused in a very difficult situation, and you tell me that you are confused, sometimes, a lot of the times, this helps and relieves. I'm not the only person who's confused here. But if I am the only person who doesn't know how to do things, and you're the only person who knows how to do things, then this affirms I am not good enough. I'm not good for nothing. Yes. It sometimes doesn't go well, and sometimes it goes well. You know what? What is the fear? What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen if it goes unwell? She starves herself and she dies. Is this your responsibility?
I don't know. I'm thinking of it as a health.
You're thinking from a medical perspective. No, that's not your response. Not that's. Pardon me. If this happens, not because of you. If ever this is going to happen, that's not because of you. So don't be afraid of things not going well. Yes, things might not go well as you planned, but you would be surprised how things would be perceived by accepting that, I don't know, accepting, let's think about this together. You know, you're the expert. You know what? I don't know how to deal. I don't know how to deal with this. Let us think about it. You know what? I might need to. It depends. If this is at the beginning of the conversation, well, maybe so the person is connecting. I need to make sure that there is a connection first. So my focus is the connection, not the solution. Not that it goes well, not that it does not go well. I don't know. It's okay for things. It's okay that I do not know the solution. I don't know how things would be resolved. But there is one thing that is more powerful. What is the more powerful is I'm here with you now. You're important. You're significant. I'm listening to you. And I will continue to listen to you. Even if I don't have a solution. Doesn't matter. This is more powerful. This is what makes things work, even if it doesn't work immediately. It has happened so many times. Maybe it ends up in a way that things are not the greatest, but by time people come back, you know what? I felt better after talking with you. Just felt better. And maybe you think you messed everything up. So what I'm focused on here right now, two things. Let's focus on the basic skills first. Active listening and empathy, not the solution. And the solution might come later, might come, might not come. But what is more important is the what. What is more important than the solution is the connection, alliance. This is more valuable than the solution. And this is contrary to what we have been told to do. But in the art of helping others, this is what we are striving to do. Have anything to add, Mina? Okay. How do you understand this from a counselee's point of view? Is by continuing to listen. Active listening and paraphrase and express empathy while I am reflecting back to the person. The fourth skill, so attending, active listening, empathy, questioning. Who read the question cube? If you read the question, you get 5 marks bonus. If you do not, 5 marks below. Just did you get a chance to read the question cube? Okay, so here's an exam, another exam. All right. So I'm gonna mention something about question. I'm gonna ask you to give me question that fulfills the criteria. Okay? Questioning are very powerful questions, very powerful tool if used appropriately, because they could damage the relationship or could impact. They help us to explore and clarify the issue. They direct the conversation one way or another. It allows the youth to reflect and to see different perspectives. That's why it's such a powerful, very powerful tool. Format of the question, open-ended or closed-ended. I want someone to give me, ناخد turn كده, give me an example of a closed-ended solution, question. Yes, anything, any closed, any open-ended or closed-ended. It is very hot today. Do you agree? And the answer is going to be yes or no. This is a closed question. Yes, no. Yes. What's an open question? Format.
What's the question from? Anything? Open question. Who do you think will win the election?
Who? So who do you think would win the election? What would be the answer?
Well, it's open question. It's based who do you think would make a better president? That's the question.
So, can you come again?
Who do you think would be a better president? For example.
Who do you think would be? I could say Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's open-ended question. It's like you put your opinions. There's no right answer. It's like.
Yeah. Usually, open question. They start with the word what.
Yeah.
What? What do you think of the election? Who is a person? What is more open-ended question, right? Do you know what is happening with the election? What do you think about the election? What happened this evening? What happened today? What happened after? What happened before? Forced choices. Forced choices. Give me an example of a forced choice question. Forced choice. Forced choices. So I'm giving you choices and you have to choose. Give me an example. Give me an example. Cookies or brownies? Very good. Would you like cookies or brownies? So you have to choose. If I say like milk, no, that's not a question. So cookies or brownies? Forced choices. And it could be 2, could be 3, could be 4. Very good. Ranking question. Who would like to give me a ranking question? Yes. In what order do you like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? What you use the word what, and what is open-ended question. And ranking would be usually best, least, favorite, rank. Give me the best. So give me how do you rank this or this or this, right? Yes. Yes. You what?
I don't agree with you.
Sure.
His question was, in what order would you rate the days of the week? He's actually asking for the order of the days of the week, in how you like that.
In what order?
What's your question? You got the different days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Put them in order. Which one do you like better? What do you like first?
Okay. Okay. That's a what? The rating is the no the yeah put yeah أنا يعني مش قادر اشوفها. Ranking is kind of asking about the best, least, most favored, less favorite. How do you rank your experience, this or this? You have a rating, you have a rating question. Go for it.
Rate your satisfaction relationship.
Yes, with 10 being the best, 1 being the least, or 10 being the whatever. So you put clarifications to the scaling question. Yes, ma'am. The surveys. Yes. Yes, yes. Usually also when you go to emergency, what's the level of pain? 10 is the most and 1 is the least, right? So this is kind of a rating. The subject of the person. The subject of the question. Subject of the question could be the behavior, feeling, and belief. I want someone to give me a question for each. I need 3 people. Who's gonna go first? Give me a question where the subject you want to inquire about a behavior. Why did you yell at your brother? So the answer would be Yeah, this we call the why the reason question. More of the reason question, right? Yes, yes. This is asking for a reason. I want to ask you about that. Ask not why, not understand. Ask about the behavior. You what exactly? Exactly. So what did you do when this happened? What did your brother do? I'm giving you questions that you might be using later. Okay. What did your sibling do when this happened? So I'm asking about the behavior, not the reason for. The reason would be you're right about the why. I want to ask about the feeling. Yes. Yes. How do you feel, or how did you feel when this happened? How do you feel today? How did you feel about that? Okay. I want a question about the belief. Because belief is you want to know about their thoughts. Yes. Why did you think that this was a good idea? Again, the why would be asking about the reason. I want to ask about the belief itself. Yes. Yes. What do you think? How do you think about this? What is your understanding when this happened? I want to get into the thinking process of the person. Okay. Now I'm going to ask people online meanings. Meaning, I want someone from the online. There are George Gerges. So George Gerges. George, can you tell me a question about the meaning? I want to inquire about the meaning someone has when something happens. Can you give me an example? Can you give me a question? George Gerges, are you with us? Or this is just an open screen? Hello? Patrick, can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Patrick, can you give me a question about the meaning of something? Meaning, what does something mean to you? What is the meaning that I'm giving you the question right now. Oh, okay. So type the question. I want you to form a question to inquire about the meaning of something from the client, from the youth. Anyone typing anything? اديهم فرصة.
What does their favorite sport mean to you?
Okay, maybe if you allow me to rephrase it by what's the meaning for you when you play your favorite sport? What's the meaning for you? What does this mean for you that you're able to play your favorite sport? Maybe it means that I'm free. I feel that I am energetic. It's what does it mean to you when he did this? Because when someone passed by and they did not greet me, what did this mean to you? It means that I am ignored, or it means that he's not interested, or it means that he's careless, or it means that I am not worth it. Yes, you wanted to ask a meaning question? It's okay. Okay, perfect. Question about relationship, where the subject is the relationship. Yes. What is this person to you? What is your relationship with this person? What's your relationship with your dad? Describe me your relationship with your mother. Describe your relationship with your siblings. Okay, so it's not a difficult thing, and we don't have to come with fancy questions, just simple question. They get to the point. Okay, so this was the subject, so I'm asking about something specific. Okay, or I could combine, so an open question about a relationship is a describe your relationship. How about a closed question about relationship? في حد كتب حاجة؟ Oh, I'm sorry, someone wrote something about the cow. طب خلينا, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let me finish the question and we'll get to the cow question. Yes. I'm sorry that we missed this. So closed about relationship. Yes. Do you like this person? Yes or no? Very good. Do you have a close or distant relationship with your parents? What type of, that's not, that, what is this? Very good. So it is a forced choice. ما أنا كنت هسأل what type of question is this? Very good. Thank you. So you see how we combine, that's why we call it the question cube. You know the cube, right? Because you take one piece at a time and you also can combine many things together. The format with the subject, with the open versus closed. And now the orientation of the question. All of these are details that are very important if used. That's why it's a skill, the skill of asking question. And sometimes it is helpful if I know, like maybe the first time I'm not prepared, but it would be helpful, and there is no need to be prepared for the first time that I'm meeting with an adolescent. But maybe if this is the second time and I have an idea, I might sit by myself and kind of write up some question. What would be the right questions to ask? What would be good question to ask? With the purpose of what? Helping the person to process and reflect, not with the purpose that we come to a solution. Okay? The orientation, self or other. How do you feel about this? Or what did your mother feel when you make an accident, or when you did not get when you got a good grade? So it's about self. How did you feel? And there are times when I need to ask about surrounding to understand maybe what's happening. If a teenager having a troubled relationship with their sibling, with one of their parents or both of their parents, I might need to ask both. So when you got your driver's license, how did this make you feel? I'm happy, excited. How about your dad? Oh, my dad was proud because he is the one who trained me. How about your mother? She was scared because she's afraid that I'm gonna get into an accident. So you get an idea how each one feels and think about the issue. Now here are the keywords that are used in question. What is basically used as an open-ended, and it's about facts. We need to get the facts. What happened? So I'm asking about fact, and it's an open-ended question. How? It's about the process. What happened? I had an accident. How did this happen? Yes, I was driving this way and my car came. So it's the process of what has happened. It could be also about the sequence. How did this happen this way? Describe to me. Or how do you feel about this? The why is the question that we try not to ask a lot. the why. Never ask, why do you feel this way? Never please ask, why do you feel this way? Because there is no answer usually. Why do I feel sad? Why do you feel sad? It's better to ask what's the reason. It would be okay to use the why if it's asking about the reason. Reason, so I feel sad today. What are the reasons that make you feel sad? If we can avoid the why, would be better, because sometimes it is tricky. It is very tricky. Why did you allow that to happen? I don't know. Right? Or maybe I have a reason. So basically, what are the reasons? So the why is the question that we encourage people not to use. If you can replace it with another keyword, that would be better. Could maximizes the discussion and the options. It's a maximum open question. Could you tell me more about this? And it also could be helping a person to process or reflect. Could there be another reason that your friend did not call you? So I'm helping them to do what? Process. Maybe they are avoiding me, but maybe could there be other reasons? What would be those reasons? So I'm helping the person to expand a narrow perspective to a wider perspective. A good question to ask is what else? What else you think I need to know? What else I did not ask? So cover missed area. What else do I need to know about this? Sometimes, as much as we ask all the questions, but sometimes I need to ask, what else? Is there anything else that you think is important for us to discuss or to bring up? You had a question. Mm-hmm. Yes. Specifically about the feeling, and sometimes the why does not really describe what is required. So if I ask the right question, I get an answer. If I ask the wrong question, the answer is not going to be the right. So why the problems with why are the most. So here is a ranking in all of these keywords for asking questions. Yes. Yes. Some tips for questions. That's why please go read the question cube. This is just the surface. Read the question cube. It has a lot of good questions, and maybe we can mark questions that we think I need to have them with me. Some tips. Asking too many questions could be felt like intrusive. Sometimes so what happened? And then what? And why? So why did you? So asking and shooting questions sometimes could be felt intrusive. Meaning the person is not, especially at the beginning, or if it's a sensitive issue or area that we are discussing. So if I keep on asking and probing, because sometimes the person is upset, but they just want someone to sit with them and listen to them, not know all the details. Mind you, sometimes after this making a discussion about lots of details, some people wonder, why did I share all of this? I feel exposed, or I feel that I was in an interrogation. However, the objective is the person to feel safe and to be able to engage. في مشكلة؟ Open questions are more helpful in exploring what is happening. Closed questions are most helpful after an open question. مش عارف ادوس عليها. مش عارف يعني I tried to بس مش. Have a clear intention of every question as much as possible. So that's why the planning, especially for the next time, it's advisable for the first time we meet not to ask too many questions, just a question to understand, to clarify. It's best to have the person continue to talk and paraphrase, talk, paraphrase, talk, paraphrase, talk, paraphrase, and empathize. And maybe question, you remember that one of the role play when the person was a bit confused? You remember what was the question he asked? And how, very good, thank you. And how do you feel about that? Because he wants to know the feelings. So if the person is talking more focused on the feeling, maybe I need to also add a little bit of the, how do you think about this? Instead of how do you feel, the person is feeling a lot. So sometimes people are more into the feeling without, and what does this mean to you? And sometimes people are into the thinking and behavior without talking about their feeling. So it would be helpful to ask a question at the beginning if there is a need to understand all these three components: thoughts, feeling, behavior. Always observe the impact of the question on the teenage, especially their nonverbal cue. Are they comfortable, or they are not comfortable? Are they taking long time to answer because they are processing, or because they don't want to engage in this discussion? And this takes time to be able to assess. So right now, I'm going to do one of the videos for therapy, where we can interact a little bit. Yes, this is a wonderful one. Let's see how much of it we can use. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to cover the self-esteem, but you have the material, which is like the process, because it's an application. It's not the new information of it is the application. Maybe some new information, but I don't think it's so straightforward. And the application of it is going to be in the presentation, and there is a sheet that is shared also on the what's the platform that they connect to. The model, yes. So it is there. Yes. 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 If it's not, let me know and I can resend it. And there is a video I really recommend watching it. I would have loved to watch it with you, but probably I don't think we have time. So we're going to be using the role play, because that's going to be helpful for the role play you're going to be doing in the remaining part of this session, and this is for the assessment. Okay, so this role play is amazing, is helpful, and it covers the skills we talked about: tending, empathy, active listening, and questions. Okay, so let's enjoy it together and process it together. I think this is not a role play. I think this is a real session, and I think it's 17 minutes. So it's called person-centered therapy. Basically, the focus is on the person. So let's process it together. What's the first thing you notice? I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions and observation. What's the first thing you notice here? This is the therapist and this is the client. What are some of, yes? Very good. Closed posture. So he's closed, meaning he is reserved. Thank you very much. How about the therapist? Yes. Thank you very much. That's amazing. She is kind of mirroring him. And this is one of the nice postures, is to mirror. Of course, hopefully it's not intention. I'm not, so what am I going to do? If it comes naturally, this is amazing, right? So for the therapist needs to be the solar, open, relaxed, sitting square, or mirroring the person with proper eye contact. Very good. This is very important because we're gonna see what's going to happen here. So how did she start? What's the first question? Yes, it's open-ended. Very good. So it's an open, she starts with an open-ended question. What is it that you like to talk about today?
Yeah, well, I suppose the bottom line is having some difficulties in my relationship for work, and I'm very uncertain about actually being here. There are some talk about these things with frustration.
Yeah, so you're feeling a bit uncomfortable discussing such personal.
The what? The audio? Yeah, because there is a bit of a British accent and the voice is not the greatest. Uh, hmm? She's paraphrasing. So basically what he said, he's not sure, he's confused, he's kind of, it's awkward for him to go to talk with someone, to kind of do counseling with someone. This is a common thing. A therapist might feel maybe defensive because, so why are you coming, right? But she's relaxed, she's okay, she's paraphrasing his perspective. So I hear that this is confusing and you're not sure if you really want to be here or not. Doesn't matter if she agree or doesn't. She's paraphrasing what he is reflecting. Shall I?
Just solving problems just years later.
Such personal information with an outside.
Years later. A bit awkward. Just solving problems yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't go out outside the scene, you don't take problems to strangers. And I'm probably doing it, but also I realise now that people be adept to the problem and also need to get a different perspective on things.
Okay, all right. I guess what I generally say to people when they first come along is that it's not uncommon to feel quite uncomfortable talking to an outsider about such personal information. And even though I can't predict exactly how you're going to feel and how things will go for you today, I do know that in the past, a lot of other people have actually felt quite uncomfortable to begin with, but as they've been able to talk and get things off their chest, they actually feel quite relieved. So you might find that as we spend more time together, that you're more comfortable in this environment too.
Were you able to listen? So what's happening? I want you to process with me what's happening. Are you stretching or do you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead. Very good. She's being empathetic. She's understanding. She's basically reflecting back her understanding. She's active listening and in an empathetic way. Perfect. And what is the purpose of this? Why is she doing this? Giving him reassurance. Reassurance. Tell me more about reassurance. Very good, very good. So we also call this validation. She's validating his feeling and experience. Yes, it's not uncommon for people who come to therapy, that they would feel this way. And one of the things that he said, that usually they have a motto, and a motto is kind of a belief system in their family, that is, you have a problem, you solve it yourself. You don't go to strangers, right? So you can imagine, where is he coming from? So, and now he's discussing it with someone else outside of his closed circle, and this is why it is uncomfortable for him. And she's saying, yes, this is not uncommon. Yes, you're right. And she did something else. She did something additional. What is that? Yes.
She gave like testimonials of other people who went through the same thing and drowned.
Very good, very good. And what is the purpose of this testimony?
Gives the extra reassurance that that they're really not alone in that way. So it's extra validation.
Very good. So it's extra. Very good, very good. It's normalizing the thought. What else? With yes, yes, she's giving him hope, and by giving him hope, what is she doing? She's opening a window. He is closed. He is closed from outside and from inside. So she is, when she's increasing the level of hope, she's trying to find somewhere like an entry point to help him. That's the objective. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Well, there's a friend of mine who'd been involved in the case previously who suggested it was I should attempt to do anyway.
Okay. And you were saying before as well that normally you like to solve things yourself and work things out yourself. And I think it's quite a balanced perspective to be looking at how you're going to resolve things yourself, and also to get an outside perspective as well. So I can see lots of benefit that can come from that dual approach.
Well, I haven't succeeded in doing it myself.
Yeah.
It's good to go.
Yeah, so perhaps we can shed some light on some helpful approaches for you. Yeah. Okay, I guess to help me understand your situation, it'd be helpful if you could talk a little bit about what's been going on for you and what's brought you along.
Well, I suppose things are just deteriorating in the relationship with my wife. As you know, we've been married 11 years, we have 2 kids, Charlie's 9, Jackie is 7. And she's very busy in her job, and she's always been, I suppose, a bit of a control freak. She likes things to be just so. And occasionally she would, what I would call it, lose the plot, and she'd yell at me and abuse me. But in the past, that was never a problem because we could sit down and talk about it. And she'd recognise that she'd probably gone over the top and whatever. But lately, it's really just gotten out of hand.
She's not nodding, listening.
It really concerns me now because I think it's starting to affect the kids.
Right, okay. So it sounds like to begin with, she might often become quite angry, but she would settle down and you can resolve things. But of late, it's become a lot more volatile, and she's become more explosive, and you're really concerned about the impact on yourself and the children.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are young. I mean, John is a boy and he seems to be heading across the code. But you're always concerned with really how things are affecting it. Jackie's only 7, as I said, and she's a little more sensitive. She's not really had it still at all. And that's really starting to put a lot of extra concern.
Yeah, okay. So it sounds like you've got a lot of concerns about both the kids. And John's probably handling it okay outwardly, even though obviously he's feeling it. But Jackie, you're particularly concerned about, which is quite delicate, and you're worried about that impact. And all of you are walking around on eggshells at the moment, just waiting for some kind of explosion to happen. Does that sound right?
Well, I'm concerned about the kids, but I'm concerned about the marriage. It's important to me to do what you can to keep things together, because it's better for the kids. But if I have to single out one major concern, it would be probably for Jackie. Because there's been a few incidents lately where the kids have been exposed in the full glory of this sort of volatile, angry behaviour, and that's really starting to worry me a lot.
Right, okay. Yeah. I guess I'm very impressed to see how much you're obviously devoted to the children, and you certainly bring their welfare first, and you want to make sure that they're in a stable environment so that they're okay. I think obviously that's a credit to you as a father that they've got children.
Those kids just made it.
Why did I stop? He finally opened it. What does this mean? He's getting engaged. Someone said something else. He's getting comfortable. He's engaged. He's getting comfortable. He feels hurt because he was reserved, and right now he is more open. It seems he got some kind of assurance, comfort that I can open up. And what helped him do this? What helped him? Yes.
And the fact that she's reaffirming his choices and his values in the right direction, so try to lead to how he's reacting to the situation and how it's expressing the insecurities.
Is she affirming his choices?
Well, she's saying like, you know, like the security of the father doing this, so like she's providing like, I guess it's
empathy. Very good. So she's empathetic. So she is using empathy. Yes, yes, I like this. So it seems to me, basically, I am understanding. It doesn't. So yes, so this is what it seems to me. This is my understanding, and she concludes with, "Is that right?" Because she's seeking his approval. If he says yes, he will continue. If he says no, he will repeat or explain in further details to clarify, which is okay. But she seems she has been getting him, and she is paraphrasing. She's expressing also empathy about what is happening, which is this is what's happening. So basically, listening, paraphrasing, and empathy, and repeat. Listening, paraphrasing, empathy, and repeat. And by 2 cycles of this, he started to open up and be kind of more relaxed, from being reserved to being more relaxed. So the body language is very important and could be like a clue to us when talking with people.
It just takes a lot. I mean, they just said it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And it's really clear when you talk about when your face lights up, so they're obviously very special and very important. Yeah, okay. All right. Just in terms of helping me to understand exactly what's going on between yourself and Angelina that's causing you such distress, would you be able to give me perhaps a recent example of a time where you did have some conflict and talk about what happened?
What is happening? Asking question. What type of questions? Open-ended. What's the objective of the open-ended question? For him to share an example. So he's talking about things difficult. She's controlling. He's worried about the kids. He's worried about this. So give me an example so that I get a better understanding, because I can tell you like this is happening. But sometimes what would be helpful is to get an example, and this example objective is to identify the dynamic, which is the relationship. So when we understand the relationship, she's doing this, kids are doing this, I am doing this, she's saying this, I am saying that, the kids are doing this. So this is a dynamic of the relationship. So it's an example and asking about the relationship in an open-ended question. Yes?
I notice like now she's mirroring her everything with postures. Before, like when her activities also were crossed, she wasn't crossed. So now that is she's open, she even drift up the body as well.
Yes, yes. Which could be one of two things. She's intentionally doing it, or it's just happening dynamically, organically. It's very difficult for me to decide, but it seems to me happening more organically as opposed to really doing this. Because when he was crossing his hands, she was not crossing her hands, right? But the way that basically they're sitting kind of mirroring or a square. But it's a very good observation is to observe what is happening in the dynamic here between both of them.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, she'd been very busy, so just to make things easier for her, I went out of the way on the way home from work and picked up a dry cleaning. And I got home probably half an hour later, what I normally do. And she didn't ask me why I was late or whatever. She just went into a tirade of abuse. And wouldn't listen to any comments or observations I could make about it. And probably the worst part for me was that both the kiddies were there. And you could see, particularly the young Jackie, the impact it was having on her. And it just really just broke my heart.
Okay. So that sounds like it was very upsetting for you to be involved in that.
What is happening? Empathy. That sounds like pretty upsetting. So she is reflecting, and you notice also the ongoing gestures or like encouragers. We call them encouragers. That he, oh right, yes, and each one might have a different way of really encouraging the person to continue conversation.
It's going to ease the situation. It just went on and on and on. She bowed down again.
Okay, right. Yeah. And what actually happened after she did burn out?
What is she asking about? What happened after, which is this behavior, feeling, or thoughts? Behavior. So what happened after? Open-ended about the behavior.
What happened with the kids in terms of
specific subject with the kids?
The kids were very restless that night. Very clean for you. Shocked and surprised. But these things have been going on for a while. This was the first time the kids had actually been fully exposed to the, I suppose, the full spectrum of the abuse and orienting brain. Just the volatile nature, really quite hostile.
Okay, so that was a specifically bad incident. Yeah. And how often does this tend to happen?
She's asking how often, which is the frequency. So there is a tense situation. How often? Is it once a month? Is it every day? So to get an idea, so the questions here are not for anything other than for her to understand and for him to be able to express more details about the issue or the concern.
It's episodic. It's always there underneath the surface. Sometimes it might be every day. Sometimes it might be once a week, once a fortnight. That's because there's no rhyme or reason to things. That's actually adding to the difficulty because I find it starting to affect my work. And I think myself and the kids are starting to walk on eggshells. That's a very unhealthy environment for the children.
So it's affecting the children, but it's spilled over into your work environment as well, and you're feeling uncomfortable when you're at work. Is that right?
I find myself sometimes not focusing on the work and thinking about how can I fix things up at home so that Angelina is more settled, it's more peaceful, harmonious life that we used to have. The kids' lives are so disrupted. They're not exposed to this intense and negative emotion.
Right, okay. So it sounds like, Max, for you it's a very constant and unrelenting distress. It's at home, it's at work, and you're feeling it.
Yeah, it's starting to be non-stop in terms of thinking.
Okay.
I think about it at work, I think about it at home.
Yeah.
So what's the frequency that he shared that arguments happened in the house? You know, what's the frequency? He said whenever there is an argument in the house, what's the frequency? Once a week. Is once a week too much or too little? Very subjective. But what is even more important is impact on him. So she is not going with, yeah, this is low frequency or this is high frequency. No, but she is focused on the impact on him, and he's focused on the impact on himself as well. So it's happening with the children, but she also wants to know about him because he's the one in the room right now, right? So as much as she gets an idea what's happening with the kids, but the main focus, the main subject is him to know what is happening. And he says, well, though it happens once a week, but he is thinking about it constantly. So this is the impact on him, right? So which could be for other people, it's just happening once a week, it's not impacting me. That's different from one person to another. What matters is the person who's with me, right? So this is the type of empathy that is focused on the person, not on what I see, not my perspective, but the perspective of the person I'm sitting with.
Yeah.
When Angelina goes to sleep, I'll stay awake thinking. It takes what might be able to do.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I just think, I'd like some peace, and I'd like some peace for the kiddies. Particularly Anne Jackie, because I think she'd really feel it. And I wonder whether maybe I should just leave. So at least the kids can have some peace, because if I'm not there, maybe Angelina won't have time. It's a big step, isn't it?
Observation, what's happening here? Why? Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry that the quality of the yes. Did you notice something with his voice? No, that's not. Doesn't matter. You have to listen. Yes, he's getting emotional actually, and that's why the moment of silence. So he's getting emotional, and she was quiet with it. She was okay with it, and she gave him his space to process, to come back and talk. Some people, a lot of the people, they do not like to get emotional with someone else, especially that they're seeing this person for the first time and that they do not like to come and share their problems with strangers. So she's respecting this. She's aware, she notices, she gave him some space because he started to talk about, I am thinking about leaving the house to provide, maybe this is good for my kids and good for me as well. But the minute he starts to talk about leaving, it seems this has triggered emotions inside of him. So he's getting emotional. She's giving him his space to come back again and then continue whatever he wants to say. So yes, moment of silence, but the key is what's happening with this silence? What's the purpose of this moment of silence? Sometimes it doesn't matter what's happening, like the words, but observing what is happening is even more powerful. I know people who do not listen to any of the sessions, but they just go kind of fast forward a little bit, like with not the normal speed, like with the to see what's happening, because some people are using gestures, some people are not, and it shows on the face. Like if there is a good camera focused on the face of the people and the body language, without listening to anything, you can understand what's happening. and understand, especially with the feelings. Especially with the feelings. Is the person upset? Is the person reserved? Is the person relaxed? Is the person angry? Is the person upset? So capturing the non-verbal, the verbal counts for how much? You remember the statistics? 7%. So the verbal is 7%. So I know you're not able to listen. I know it's sad, but this is 7%. What's happening is, what we are seeing is 93% of what is happening.
Leaving.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've never discussed it with them. But hearing myself say that leaving a relationship would be a possible solution.
His hand meaning, this is what I will do next. Leaving, not leaving, thinking about it. Think about the kids.
It's important to do whatever you can to keep the relationship going, and ultimately, if we work at resolving these issues, then the kids will be a whole lot better off. It's part of the family group. Me taking off and having to battle through explaining it into the kids later on. And fractured lifestyle.
Okay, Max, if I could just summarise what we've talked about so far.
Summarize, she's concluding.
You explained to me that you've become very frustrated and tired and I think worn out with a lot of the anger and a lot of the volatility in the relationship that you have with Angelina. You were very worried about the impact on both Jackie and John, and you've been so worried, in fact, that you considered leaving. But it's also occurred to you that that's a major step to take, and it's one that you would prefer not to do, and that makes you think that you want to even work harder to actually restore things between yourself and Angelina and work things through so that you can actually be more harmonious and live together in peace as a family. Would that cover it for you?
Yeah, that summarises.
Does this cover this?
Pretty accurately where we're at. That would be my strong preference.
Right.
Walking out and being out there.
Yeah.
I'd probably hear it, that'd be so different for the kids.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess this might be as good a time as any just to draw things together and perhaps finish for now. And perhaps if you wanted to work with me on this, I'd be very happy to support you in whatever it is that you'd like to do in the future in your relationship with Angelina and restoring the family to what it once was and moving forward.
I'd be really happy to do that because I think a lot of things have been clarified. Get a better perspective of what the options are and what the.
What are you capturing? Or so basically, she gave him a summary of what is her understanding, and basically she's concluding. So at the end, she's basically summarizing, this is my understanding, and she is highlighting the feelings and the actions and some of the thoughts that are taking place. So she's listening for those. She gave a summary of the entire session, and she's asking him, now we have some understanding. Would you like to come? That I am willing to maybe support you in whatever you want to achieve. If you want to restore, if you want to do whatever you want to do, what would you be interested to come to discuss further? Any solutions? No. He reflects and says, yes, I would like to. Today's session was helpful and it helped me reflect and reorganize my thoughts. So this was helpful. No solution, but what did he do? Process, reflect, and this was helpful and gave him some calmness, some peace. Someone listened to him, someone was able to understand and reflect back to him whatever he shared, and he's comfortable. And he's willing to come again. So is there a movement? Yes, definitely. First movement is when he opened, and the second is when he felt, yes, this is good. I'd like to come again. And this is what we need to do, basically. So let's take a break, 15 minutes break. Can we come back 5 minutes after 5? So that's 15 minutes. And then I'm going to describe to you more details how we're going to do this. Make sense? See you in 15 minutes. Thank you. So for the online group, Ayman will randomly create discussion rooms. So I'm not sure how would this go for you. I just heard someone told me that they cannot engage in discussion from عارف how this would look like, because we need to do a role play. We need to make groups of 3s, maximum and minimum groups of 2. So this is what we need to do. So Ayman is gonna randomly create rooms, and each room would have 3 members. Okay, and here we are groups of 3s, except one group of 2. So I'm gonna go with you, and I think you have a copy, a soft copy. For those online, there is a soft copy available. So youth case topics. So each one will get a turn to be a youth, and each one will get a turn to be a counselor, and each one will get a turn to be an observer. If you are a group of 2, then there is no observer. So one time youth, one time counselor. So when each page is for you when you are in one of these roles. So one time when you are a youth, you're going to assess the counselor. If you are a counselor, you're going to assess yourself. If you're an observer, you're going to assess the counselor. And we repeat this 3 times. Okay? So by the end, each one needs, that's why, Penny, again? Okay, so we're gonna have the roles. Each one will get a turn to be a youth, counselor, and an observer. Each time you're doing an assessment. When you are a counselor, you're making self-assessment. If it's my turn to be a counselor, and how do I assess myself? I'm gonna go into the details. So if I am a youth having, choose a scenario, choose a vignette. So choose a role where you become, can you give to people who do not have, so each one needs to have 3 copies. I think the groups at the back. And I cover the groups at the back. So if you're a youth, select a role, like you're gonna select a case where you're gonna be impersonating this case. So youth having a relationship problem with a friend, or a parent, or a teacher, or emotional relationship, or youth confused about making a choice of university program or school, subject selection, or youth struggling with addiction, drinking, gambling, porn, drugs, or any topic of your choice. So if you're a youth, choose a topic where you are coming with a concern. I'm having a concern dealing with my friends. So you're gonna make things up, okay? But try to make it as relevant as possible, and be nice when you are a youth. Don't be difficult. Meaning you like something similar to the videos that we have seen. Okay, when you are a counselor, you're going to apply the skills. Welcome your position. You welcome the person and the way you're sitting and attending. You're going to ask, so what are you here today for? How can I help you today? Paraphrase, empathize, active listening, ask question if there is a need to. No problem solution. Exactly like the last role, like the last video, no solution. Just explore what is the issue and reflect back to the person. The observer will observe the dynamic between the youth and the counselor, and will do kind of an external assessment. Okay, so don't be generous, don't be miser with the evaluation. So I give 10 out of 10 if this is really something amazing from your perspective. And if it's not the greatest, yani 6, 5, yani don't go yani 2, 3. Be yani reasonable. Okay. So instruction in groups of 3 or 2. as if number permits, take 10 minutes turn to be a helper, then observer, and then a youth with an issue seeking help. The helper focus on using the skills, not the solution. The youth be helpful and cooperative with the helper. Observer attend to cues used by the helper. Relaxed, warmth, acceptance, openness, tone of voice, eye contact, empathy, paraphrasing, questioning style on the skill schedule below. When you are a helper, this is a self-evaluation for how you think you did as a helper in your turn. So we're getting perspective from each. Your perspective, perspective of the observer, perspective of the youth, and we're going to be taking the average. So write your name the 3 times, and 1 time you're an observer or a youth or a helper. Put the topic, the title, and put the other group member. When you were a helper, who was the youth and who was the observer? Okay, and when you were the observer, who was the youth, who was the helper? Yes. Sure, we'll get, yes, perfect. So the skills that we're going to be rating: alliance, building a relationship with the youth to make him and her feel at ease at the beginning. Yes. No, every time the youth will choose a topic of their choice. So you're going to be evaluating yourself or others on the alliance, attending, being with the youth, solar acronym, active listening, empathy, question uses a variety, and then constructive comment to the helper. If you have a comment, constructive in a positive way. Okay, if you have a comment, share it verbally in the session together and write it down. Okay, make sense? Any questions? Any questions from the online؟ في حد عنده questions يا أيمن؟ Okay. Yeah. And by the way, I read the comments on the online chat. I apologize, I was not able to read it in time, but I read the comments. So thank you for your participation. Yes. The helper. Yes. The person being evaluated is the helper. One from self, one from the observer, one from the youth. Okay? So each round should take not more than 10 minutes. So basically give yourself 7 minutes and 3 minutes to grade and debrief. Okay? Are we okay? So 7 minutes for the dialogue between the youth and the helper, 3 minutes for the grading, and if there is a feedback that you want to share. If you have a question, I'm going to be here. Okay? Same for the online, please. 7 minutes for the discussion or for the helper to do a role play with the youth, and 3 minutes for the grading and the debrief. If you have any questions, let me know. Type it down. Ayman will deliver it to me. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Abuna Banoub, you need to join the room you're assigned to. It's room number 4. Can you hear me?